Welcome everybody to the Basic Nerd Experience. I'm your host, Elliot, and
Elliot.
or Elliot, as I'm also referred to as. Join me today. I have my buddy Javi.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me, dude.
Anytime, man. Anytime. So, want to talk about some Spider-Man talk today?
Yeah, we talking Spider-Man.
Talking Spooderman?
Yeah. Fucking love Spider-Man. Sorry, you gonna say fuck?
You can say fuck all you want. No, not too much though.
Appreciate it.
But you can say.
They fucking love Spider-Man.
No.
Just to kind of establish my credibility here as a Spider-Man fan. I've loved him since I was maybe like 6, 7 years old.
Same.
There's pictures of me with a Halloween costume back in like Venezuela.
Oh, really? Wow.
There, for Halloween stuff. So that's kind of history with it.
That's what's up, man. So let me ask you something. So what got you into Spider-Man? Like, what was it? The movies? Was it like, did you go to the Universal ride? Like, what, the comics? Like, tell me, what got you into Spider-Man? What exposed you to Spider-Man?
Well, it was definitely nothing to do with any sort of Spider-Man media, particularly in the United States, because like I said, at the time I lived in Venezuela. I was a little kid, probably like 4 or 5 years old when I first got into him. And I think that was right around where the Tobey Maguire movies came out.
Okay.
The first one, I remember.
Yeah, in 2002?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was maybe, 6, 7?
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, maybe a little younger than that, 5, 6. But, yeah, no, I've always, I don't remember what exactly got me into it. I just remember being really, really into it. Granted, I was also into like a few other things as well. I was really into like Dragon Ball Z. Remember that being a thing. Power Rangers, that kind of thing as well. But Spider-Man was like one of my favorite things. I have tons of toys. It's just, I really don't know what got me into it. It's just
you just started getting into it, yeah.
There's just something about this dude. You could just shoot webs and climb shit. Basically,
it also was cool that he looked cool. He always said like he had quips, and he had like he just said like one-liners, and then he would what's the word? Web sling? Not web sling. Shoot webs. I can't think today. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
It's okay, dude. I'm fried too. It's been a long day. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I don't know. I feel like that particular version of Peter Parker wasn't very quippy, but just I don't know. There was something about him that kind of appealed to just what a little kid would consider to be cool.
Yeah,
like he was just cool as hell. Even in the movie, he kind of wasn't. Right. He was kind of an underdog in his world. But yeah, that's what really got me into it was that first movie, and then from there, like there's just a lot of stuff. Kind of just cascade from there. I also used to watch you remember the show? Dang it, what was the one that they used to put on like late night? Was it Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon? Like the '90s series.
Oh yeah,
Spider-Man.
Man, I love that series so much.
With that theme song on it. I used to watch that one a lot.
Yeah,
as well,
that's the best anime series in my opinion.
Same here. I definitely gotta say that series was legendary. But yeah, I used to watch that a lot too. I've always loved them.
The thing I like about that series a lot is I love how like when was the last time you went to the Spider-Man ride?
Like on Universal?
Yeah.
And wasn't it with you?
Was it?
Yeah, dude.
Oh shit!
I haven't been to Islands.
Oh wow! Damn.
Yeah, but we're talking like before they updated it.
Yeah,
it still looked like it was still based on the 90s.
No, it's still based on the 90s.
Is it still? They updated a few things.
No, like
it didn't seem too ultra.
Yeah, like in the
they kept a few things, but
the thing I like I mentioned this in the last episode where me and I just talked about all of Universal. One thing I love about Superhero Island is that's where all like the Marvel the Hulk, Doctor Doom, Spider-Man. I love the campiness out of it. I love that it still has because again I like looking at everything. I like the smells. I like looking at the colors. I like taking in. Okay, what's the story? Okay.
Yeah, they definitely knew what they were doing in terms of the design of the place. Cause you get there and it's like.
Oh shit!
It's not replicating any particular comic book world, but it just hits you with okay, this is comic book.
Yeah, this is I'm in the world, and it's like okay, we're in the Daily Bugle. I guess we're gonna go stop Hitler. I mean J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, they had to revise that mustache. I'm glad they did. That was a lot of pocket when they designed him like that.
I think there's a reason why. But
I like to associate him with like a very authoritarian figure.
yeah,
But it's nowhere near that deep. I mean, the guy's not
it's
racist.
not.
Like,
No, he
or
just
like
he
anti-Semitic.
no, he just has a
Just hates Spider-Man.
He
He
just
only
hates
hates one person.
he's arachnidist. He's he's prejudiced
Prejudice towards arachnids.
arachnid like people, which is
What was
not
his
right.
problem, by the way? I think he just had a really bad experience with like a spider, and he just any mere mention of a spider, like shit, there's this fucking dude running around dressed as one. Oh god, I gotta stop him. Like,
You know what I love about the game, like the Spider-Man game?
which one?
The new one, the newest PS4
Oh,
one.
okay.
I
yeah.
love how
Masterpiece.
I love how he's just like Alex Jones. Like
Yeah.
he's
Dude,
just,
I thought that, dog. Like, they basically parried. Like, I remember playing. I was like, damn, they were modeling him after fucking like Alex Jones type of like type of journalism. Like,
yeah.
it was like I was hearing Alex Jones. Although the people argue that like some of the points he makes are like valid. I have to agree to some extent, because I mean, yeah, there are a lot of things, especially in that game, if you notice, like Parker could have maybe not maybe not gone to such lengths with, like, there was damage done that could have been avoided.
How
But
so?
I feel like that's just like I'm trying to remember like specific examples, but just all the destruction and all the damage that happens as a result of the fights he gets into.
And I do like that there's like a sense of realism. Like you know how in the part of the game where you can go see like the text messages, the social media of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I love how, like, for example, like the thing I love about that Spider-Man game, which is, by the way, the newest Spider-Man game, is in my opinion the best Spider-Man game.
Dude, no, for sure. Like, that's a whole conversation we got to have in this.
Yeah.
Like, I have been waiting, and I guess a lot of us have been waiting for this fucking game, like, for years and years and years, because they started off, and the one for N64, PS1,
Yeah.
you know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Was really, really good.
It was like when like Carnage or Dr. Octopus were like,
Yeah.
and they came together. Yeah.
The game was sweet, but like every attempt to make a Spider-Man game after that, I feel like, has just been
There was
hit or miss.
There was Spider-Man 2, which was really good. There was I really didn't like. If we're gonna be honest, we should walk down all the video game paths up to, like, from that Spider-Man game you're talking about to that ones that I can remember. Like because
same here. Because anything before that, like, there's Game Boy Color ones. There's even an Atari one. That's beyond our
like
time.
come
That's
on, like that's like
people who read the comic books back in the day when it first came out.
Yeah.
That's that generation. But yeah,
I agree.
I think we can establish that the one that most of us remember first is either the N64. I think most PS1 people played on.
I think it was PS1 and 64.
Yeah, there was an N64
and GameCube too, right?
No, the one on GameCube that I remember first coming out was the one based on the movie.
Oh, the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which that actually, even like that game, I first played it. Again, living in Venezuela, little kid. I remember my dad buying the computer game, like, for the PC, like,
Right,
PC version of it. And I remember like looking at this and like picturing like, oh my god, I'm gonna play Spider-Man, dude. Because the only time I ever played the N64 one was at this particular place where you would kind of like pay to play their games for a little while. So I never really got too super engaged with it. But I remember looking forward to that game so damn much. But then our PC couldn't run it because the PC we had at the time. But then I first actually got to play it on the GameCube when I first got to America. I had my little GameCube. I think I got it used from like GameStop for
really wow,
maybe EB Games. Oh god, that's
really
really throwing it back. But
throwback.
Yeah, so then that's the first time I ever played it, and it was really good. I liked that game.
Yeah.
But there was a certain point in the game where I just felt like it was a little lacking. I feel like especially after that whole intro sequence, based on the movie where Uncle Ben, based on everything, Uncle Ben dies. And
wait, what?
Yeah, I know, right?
Uncle Ben dies?
I'm sorry, dude. I spoiled that for you.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Man, we gotta stop this podcast. No,
yeah, but basically that whole intro sequence, because it was very like well elaborated on in that game. But as soon as you get out of that and you start kind of getting into the levels where they include like the shocker,
shocker,
which wasn't even again not even in the movie. They just started adding their own.
That's the problem I have with video games that are based on movies.
Yeah.
There's like stuff. It's like, wait, I want to play stuff that's similar to the movie. Like I like Shocker personally. Like I like there's this thing about Spider-Man that's like this not cliche. What's the word? A campiness to it.
Yeah.
I like the Shocker, especially from the animated series. I like the costume. I like the look of him. Like again in the Spider-Man, but like
Yeah, they did use the original costume in the PS1 game based on the movie, which
Oh,
was
really?
a little weird because you get this like realistic looking Spider-Man,
Yeah.
and then you get like the super cartoony looking Shocker and Vulture and all that. Like
Vulture
what?
is so like I'm glad in Homecoming like they finally got Vulture, but that's the Vulture done right.
Yeah.
But no, back before that, it was Vulture was weird. Like this
Yeah.
old guy flies in the sky. That's it. Like really,
He's just
like
a little salty about a few things.
I'm very salty, mostly comic wise, but like comic book things. But nah, it's just it's a lot of things. But there's a lot of like video games that I felt like the first ever game I remember playing was Spider-Man 2, which was really good. I think it was on GameCube, if I'm not mistaken.
GameCube and PS2. I never played that one.
Oh,
I do
okay.
remember hearing like that. You know, that's where they got the mechanic like for web slinging and
Yeah.
stuff. Like they got it basically from that game. And
That's the second best.
Yeah,
but
I remember
obviously
hearing a lot about it. But
That's the second best, but obviously the first one, the best. Everything about being Spider-Man is obviously the best one, but we already know that, ladies and gentlemen. But the other games I really loved, and I'm not sure if you played them. Did you ever play? Because these were the Spider-Man games that really these are the games that made me really want to like have a great Spider-Man game. Did you ever play like either Shattered Dimensions or Edge of Time?
So I played Web of Shadows and Shattered Dimensions.
Okay.
I felt like the story for Shattered Dimensions was pretty good, but as far as like the gameplay goes and just the way everything's set up, I just believe very strongly that Spider-Man in the kind of game that would, like best benefit Spider-Man as a character should be an open world game. And that's what annoyed me about it. Web of Shadows kinda was getting close to it. You could tell it was like sort of inspired off the PS2 game, but the Web of Shadows story was kind of lackluster. I didn't like it too much. Shattered Dimensions again kind of really needed like an open world sort of thing. I wasn't really too into like the levels. But yeah, like those two were pretty good games in my opinion. But they left something. They kind of they were a little lacking to me, which is what further kind of drove like when I heard that the new Spider-Man was coming, I'm like, oh shit, we're actually gonna get it right this time. Like
But yeah, no, I agree. Like Shattered Dimensions, that game because I really love. It really exposed me to like kind of like the Spider-Verse, like Spider-Man 2099 and Spider-Man Noir. I love 2099 a lot.
I'm pretty into them personally.
Really?
I like Noir.
Noir, yeah, no. Noir has a good, I like that they're different. I really like how the Noir is more like this older classic. He also, Spider-Man has a gun. Not in the game, but in the I don't know if you read the comics with the Noir.
I read some of them, yeah.
Oh, okay. So you know, like, there's like a gun.
He has a gun. Doesn't use it too much. But it's very weird because usually, Spider-Man is like...
It's like Batman with a gun. It's like, what?
Yeah. No, but that's like a whole different version. That wasn't even Peter Parker, right? That was someone else.
It is. I think it is Peter Parker. It's Peter Parker, but in a different dimension.
Completely different context.
It's like the past is like, I don't know. It's just a different dimension. The past where it's like Ben dies, but like Peter Parker.
Everything's set in the 50s or 40s. Was it?
The 30s actually.
30s.
So it's in the Great Depression. So and it was cool because all the gangs and it makes sense of like Norman Osborn with Vulture and Hammerhead. It made a lot of sense. I really like that. I like that how to make the character different in different settings, and that's why I think it's really good. Like Spider-Man, imagine Spider-Man with the gangsters. That's perfect. Like that's just great.
The change of context was definitely appreciated.
Definitely,
really cool. Actually, I should get more into Noir.
Yeah, they're really good. I know there's I think there's Iron Man Noir, which I want to read. I think there's I just started getting into Punisher like last year, and I think they have a Punisher Noir, and it's really fucking good. I think there's Punisher Noir, but like Punisher in general is really fucking good. That's a different podcast episode, but you're not a fan of 2099, huh?
Not too much. Never got that into it, honestly.
The suit is pretty sexy.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
Yeah,
the suit's pretty cool. I could never. One thing with the suit though is I could never get over like the eye holes. Like, well, okay, I get it. This is like futuristic technology, but like it just bothers me to see like on an anthropomorphic. That's the word for it, right? Like human.
Sure.
I think that's the word. An anthropomorphic figure with no eyes. It's just a little, kind of
off.
Dip on the uncanny valley,
Right.
For me, but yeah, the suit overall is pretty cool. I like it.
So wow, yeah. There's just a lot of things that are really great about Spider-Man, but like, who what's your favorite villain?
All right, so honestly, I'm gonna go with the wrong answer and say Hobgoblin, but that's aside.
You don't like Hobgoblin?
Yeah, not that much really, to be honest. I found Green Goblin to be much more intriguing in terms of story and whatnot. But like,
man,
it's pretty, it's pretty good.
Do you just like Hobgoblin? Do you just like Green Goblin because he's green?
Yes. How'd you know? It's my favorite color.
You're goblinist. You're racist with goblins. Like you just.
Are there different races of goblins?
In the Spider-Verse, only 2.
Hob and green.
Hob and green. That's it. Meanwhile, like it doesn't say like yellow or like.
Yeah, if we're talking Dungeons and Dragons,
that's different.
Yeah,
there's a different podcast episode again.
Yeah. But honestly, I feel like this might have to do with my bias toward the Tobey Maguire movies, just because that's what I first got introduced to. But honestly, I feel like Doc Ock is one of my favorite. One of my favorite villains. It's definitely up there. I don't know. It's hard for me to make a list, but I particularly loved like how they fleshed him out in the new Spider-Man game. That's going back to it, but they really did just do a lot right with that game, and that was one thing. I felt like, if anything, like the way I had sort of perceived Doc Ock in the comics and the games that I played up until that point, and in Tobey Maguire movies, etc. Dude, especially not. What other movie was? He wasn't in the Andrew Garfield ones. Right?
He was.
Those were.
I'm thinking of Green Goblin. No, he was not.
No. Right.
Doc Ock is only.
The whole thing is just a blur to me. I try to forget that happened.
No, I really hate Amazing Spider-Man.
Those are so awesome.
No, they were terrible. No, Doc Ock has only been, I think, on screen once. So
I guess I'm mostly going off sort of like comics and the Tobey Maguire movies,
which is fine. Yeah.
But yeah, just I feel like even in the new Spider-Man game, he's much more relatable. He's much more maybe not relatable because questionable things, but he's very relatable, at least in the sense that like you can understand why. Like, what's really driving him? Why is he doing what he's doing? And at a certain point, it gets to like, it's basically just the machinery fucking with him, and you sort of empathize. I don't know, the way that the game is set up and the way that it's written and everything sets that up so that you empathize with Doc Ock a little more. Yeah, which was a nice treat. Pretty cool. He was the sort of like the leader of the Sinister Six in that game. Yeah. So I was pretty happy with that. I don't know, it was weird, man. It's like someone asked me like, what do you want in a Spider-Man game? And I it's basically made the game I've always wanted. Yeah. No, a lot of us feel like that.
What's like a villain you like hated? You always hated. Like it's like you saw him, you're like, fucking
Shocker, dude. It's fucking annoying.
What?
At least in the PS4 game, he is a lot funnier, which makes me like him a little more. But at least every incarnation in the shows and everything that I had seen before that is just he's so fucking annoying. I'm sorry.
Oh man,
he's so annoying. But besides that, I mean, I don't think I really hate any particular villain. And we're going off hate as in, like, how they're written and what their motives are.
You just see them where you're like, were you again? Like, god damn it.
Yeah, I think that's mostly for me.
Shocker?
I feel like most villains are pretty, like, well written in Spider-Man.
I don't know. I really hate Kraven the Hunter.
Really? How come?
He's just there. He's just like.
What was his origin again?
I don't know.
No one knows.
I know someone knows, but like
someone knows, but no one cares.
Someone is like triggered right now and researching it, and they're like, "Excuse me, it's according to Marvel Wikipedia, no." But I don't know. Kraven is he's just kind of there. Like I don't understand what his motive is with Spider-Man. Like I understand other villains. Like I understand the Lizard. I understand Mysterio or Green Goblin or other words. Kraven is just like.
You're kind of saying it's almost like a filler villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
But like Hydro Man. Hydro Man to me is also a filler villain.
I completely forgot about him.
Right? Like it's just like he's in the like they're in the main ones, and then there's like my favorite Spider-Man villain is Venom. But like now
I fucking love Venom. Yes.
But like you can now he's an anti-hero now.
Yeah, that's right. They have like rewritten him
since like the 80s.
Yeah. Because Eddie Brock was definitely just like he just fucking hated Peter Parker. Like he was just like just trying to get Peter Parker's ass for no other reason other than like he's a better journalist than me. But now he's I haven't seen the new Venom movie.
Oh, you haven't?
Nah, dude.
It has its problems, but
I barely watch movies in general, so
we gotta watch it. I own it, but it's the Venom movie. it has problems with it, but I was very happy with it.
I heard it was like good, but not in a conventional sense.
Yeah, it was. There's problems with the villain. I wish there was more of Riot as the bad guy in the game. So I wish there was like, there was just a lot of things. I can get another podcast episode about that because the Venom movie I do want to talk about. But basically, like Eddie Brock was done right. The Topher Grace's Venom was terrible in Spider-Man 3. But
we don't talk about that.
We don't.
That was even me like liking the first two movies with Tobey Maguire. Like that third one was always like,
it started really. I watched all three recently, like back to back to back. It was like, all right, the first one. It was like like childhood memories. Like, oh my god, I forgot about this scene and this scene. There's so much cool stuff. And Spider-Man 2,
I would say, is even better.
Is a little bit better, but it's also very mature. And then 3, and you're like,
what
come on,
what happened?
the thing my problem is with the trilogy.
What?
I hate MJ.
Yeah, no, okay, MJ sucks. I will say that. I'm sorry to keep going back to the freaking game, but like again, MJ. Some people will even disagree with me, but like I feel like MJ was done very right in the game.
Yes.
Compared to the way she's been portrayed before, because clearly, like in the Tobey Maguire movies, like, dude, what was her problem? Like she supposedly loved Peter, but she basically, at least if you look at everything from the beginning, like.
I'm sorry, I just got attacked by a fly.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, we're actually outdoors right now. So we got several podcast guests, and they're all insects. So,
we're not insectists, but we hate bugs.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're saying MJ, I agree. Like MJ was done right in the Spider-Man game. I think we're just gonna talk about the Spider-Man game in the trilogy, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, I know. It's just when they do something so right, how can you help but not talk about it? Like,
exactly. Yeah. Like
the other way around. How can you not help but? It's very school kids.
Yeah, no, but there's also the Spider-Verse. There's also remember Spectacular Spider-Man?
What was that?
Never mind.
Spectacular. That was
on like Disney. XD.
Oh, was that that Disney XD show? I watched parts of it. I remember memories. Okay, it's flying back to me. Yeah, I remember. I watched parts of it. I don't remember much about it though. I don't remember it being particularly bad or anything, but just kind of.
But anyway,
watched much of it.
I'll get back on to stay on course. But no, MJ, I felt she was the first Spider-Man game, the movie. I get like she matured. They're in high school. They matured. He had a crush on her, but then like the ending was kind of cool. Like, you know what? I kind of need to figure out who I am first before I date anyone, which was mature for Peter Parker because he's like, he lives next to her, like childhood for like, oh my god, like I have to admit, like that's a mature decision, and
I can sort of relate, being someone who never really dated or interacted with anyone romantically until 18 or 18 plus, basically.
Right.
I get him, when it's that late in your life, and that's when you're really starting to like, romantically like explore. It can, sometimes you just don't really know like what you want. That's
exactly.
It made sense for him to go through that. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. It also it built up for the second one, but Mary Jane just she couldn't
sucked, dude.
She just couldn't figure it out. Like she was with stupid Flash. I mean, I get high school. That's one thing. I get no,
but there was one particular scene, and this is the thing that always like
in the first one.
I forgot. Was it when was it that which movie was it that she broke up with Peter and she was with the Flash for a while?
No, are you thinking of
that scene?
Are you thinking of the astronaut? It was J. Jonah Jameson's son. It was the astronaut.
Was it?
Yeah. Remember they're gonna get married?
Yes.
Yeah,
that was the Flash.
She was
my memory so shitty.
Flash is Flash. That was the first one. That was just a high school thing.
Yeah.
No, she was.
No, but first of all, that whole relationship was like unnecessary. It was horrible. I don't know what. Again, just kind of cemented MJ in that. In that series is like just not. I did not like her, but there was one particular scene that was just so out of pocket and so extra.
Was it what was
the scene where he swoops in and you see them like making out on the couch, like in the specific like upside down pose?
Right.
Someone, I forgot who, but someone called this out, and I was like, shit, this makes sense because like why are they? Why is MJ kissing him like doing the upside down Spider-Man kiss? Like, what is it like? What is going on sexually here? Like that he wants to like like, why is she doing like the thing she did with Peter with this dude? Like, these are two different people. What it?
Oh,
And it just so happened that Peter was just swinging by. As you remember the scene, right?
I do, but you know what? I actually didn't think about it like that.
Like, what was?
Oh,
why was he swooping at this particular moment while they're doing this particular thing? Why?
I didn't think of it like that.
So out of pocket, so necessary. Like, okay, it was pretty cemented that, like, okay, MJ was with his kid for a while, and that whole thing was going on. Peter's going through it. It was established, but that was just so extra. They did not need to put that in there.
But one thing, like, it goes crazy. Like, the good thing about Peter Parker, the writing about Peter Parker in general, is that Peter Parker is this very intelligent kid who wants to make sure that the world is a better place. But he has so much he has to do. He has deadlines. He's at the newspaper for the Daily Bugle. He's got school. He's going to college, or he has a job. He has a girlfriend, and he has Aunt May. Like, he has a lot going on. But that's the thing they do well in Spider-Man 2 and in the Spider-Man game. But I'm going to just go on to Spider-Man 2. It made sense why Mary Jane was like, listen, I kept inviting you to my, like, remember when she was at the Broadway show?
Yeah.
And she was like, I kept inviting you and you didn't come. And he also wasn't doing his homework, and he was like, he got fired from that pizza job.
Yeah.
So that was like, all right. Like,
those are valid points for her kind of not, being with him.
Right. And that's the thing. Remember when Doc Ock said, I wish I wrote this quote for senior year, but I wrote a dumbass quote instead. Doc Ock said this amazing quote. I'll never forget. He said, intelligence is not only a gift, it's a privilege, and we use it for the good of mankind.
I know a lot of people who need to hear that.
Yeah, like a lot, like a lot of people need to hear that. Like, not like, I'm not saying like politically, I'm not saying that, but in general, like we need to use it. And I agree. Like, but Doc Ock was this great man. He had a wife, and he had everything. But like, anyway, back to Peter Parker. That's a different. We'll go on there later. But Peter Parker is just, he was like, I can't handle being Spider-Man to Peter Parker. I got to fix Peter Parker first. So that's when he dumped Spider-Man and let me go be Peter Parker. And he fixed those things, and it was better. And he thought, like, okay, I saw the show with Mary Jane. I did my homework, and I'm doing everything great. And then it's like, wait, I'm not winning Mary Jane over. And then he eventually comes back to being Spider-Man again. And, we know what happens. And, no, it's Spider-Man 2.
I'm sorry to interrupt real quick. So when you said, like, when he dumped Spider-Man, the first thing that came to mind was that one scene where he like, physically dumps, like, the costume in the trash can.
Yeah.
And I always thought, again, just those little weird, little weird things with the movie. I always thought, like, what if some weirdo just walked by, like, dumpster diving, just found the costume, and now you have, like, this freaking weirdo running around in a Spider-Man costume that doesn't fit him. Like,
well, I understand, like, why no one did that in the movie. I mean, I know the scene.
Dude, at least, like, dispose of it properly, my man. Like,
right.
You're leaving something out here, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Like, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
That's leaving a costume out in the open there for someone to just grab. That's
right.
bad.
Well, because I think he did it was like, I think his way was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. Personally, like, all of us were like, this is bullshit. We know we're getting more Spider-Man sequels.
Yeah, there's still, like, a good, hour and a half of this movie left. So
right,
clearly
exactly.
Something's going to fucking happen at some point.
Like, I saw the trailer, they fight Doc Ock, and Doc Ock's like, there yet. Like, yeah, I know what you mean. But, no, there's something of, no, I agree. But, I forget where I was going to, but, oh, Doc Ock. No, to go back to what you were saying earlier, Doc Ock is a really good villain. He's really complex, and he makes the decision to kill himself to save, like, from that nuclear sun or whatever they were trying to do.
Yeah.
But it's funny, when I was a kid, I never liked Spider-Man 2 that much because I thought it was
Spider-Man what?
Spider-Man 2.
Oh, okay.
Because I thought it was too mature. I thought it was too, like,
It got too real.
It got too real, so I really don't understand it. But the more I watch it as, like, an adult, well, I'm not an adult yet, but physically, yes. Mentally, I'm getting there. But no, I feel that I appreciate it more because I'm not gonna lie. I actually liked Spider-Man 3 as a kid. I really liked it. I mean, I knew that it was not as good as the other ones, but there were scenes I enjoyed. Like Sandman, I felt was really good.
He was a good villain. I wish, if anything, the movie was mostly focused on him. But I do get what you mean. As a kid, I didn't think too much of it. Like, I wasn't so critical of it.
Right.
Maybe it's because, like, as a kid, your attention span is, like, 7 seconds at the most.
Right.
So, maybe the, the way the story was laid out and all these, like, different plot points happening at the same time, it's something I could sort of handle as a kid. But, like, watching it now, it's just like, my God, like, stick to one story. Or, maybe one or maybe two arcs, like, but, man, they went all over the place with that. That was the main problem with that movie. I think most of us could agree.
Yeah, I agree.
But now that we're on sort of the subject of Spider-Man movies, what is your opinion on Spider-Verse?
I personally is the best Spider-Man movie.
You think?
Yes.
I kind of agree with you there. Yeah.
and people ask me this, like my buddy Ken, Kitty Boy, who was on the first podcast episode, who will be on many more.
My boy Ken.
My boy, he's a sweetheart. He disagreed and he thought that Spider-Man 2 was the best. I said, well, I think Spider-Man 2 is the best Peter Parker movie, but the Spider-Verse is the best Spider-Man movie.
That's a really good way of putting it. Really. Yeah, no, because I mean, each Spider-Man before it, and granted, these were all like live action. I mean, we're not counting any of the like animated movies or anything like that. We're talking about like like theater releases.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they each, except the Andrew Garfield ones, those should go die in a fire. But everyone before that, had its own charm in a way, but none was really like, I don't know, like none really satisfied each one of like my, I guess like subconscious criteria of what makes a good Spider-Man story.
Yeah.
Quite as good as Spider-Verse. I feel like that's something that I did very, very, very right.
What did you like about Spider-Verse?
I mean, first of all, okay, we're kind of like departing from the standard, same freaking Uncle Ben dies, oh God, my life, turn to Spider-Man, get bitten, Sorry, yeah. I'm missing a few things in the order here.
I think everyone gets it. Like,
even in the movie, they say, I think you know the story by this point.
Yeah, it's like
so that was very nice, and I like the sort of self-awareness that they had with that. I like the way that they sort of included Miles Morales. Like that's it was cool to see him in like a big screen movie. Like it was always something that was part of like Spider-Man universe and part of Spider-Man media, but was never. I wonder why. Sorry, not to get political or anything, but just something that was never, ever in the light of the mainstream until now, and that's, I feel like they really brought the big guns in terms of story. Like they brought all the good shit.
Personally, like I don't think it's politically. Like I do think that it's gotten more and more of a thing because, like Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen, or any character is getting more and more attraction from comic books than at con conventions where people dress up as them,
exactly,
or like video games, right? So I don't think it's like a political thing. I think it's like,
I feel like it kind of is though, in just one sense, because keep in mind that the way Miles was originally written, he is Black and Hispanic.
Yeah.
Which, like, at that point, when you identify with a character, a lot of the time you identify with what makes up their identity, what their ethnic background is. Maybe not for every single
sexuality,
character.
maybe? Would that help?
Yeah, of course, I think, that too as well.
Okay.
Just anything that makes up that identity. And, already for Miles, like, him being Black and Hispanic, that not a lot of people would sort of identify with that, immediately, like, or even really just kind of, give it attention. For that reason, like I can sort of I can recognize that, like me, even though I'm Hispanic,
you're Hispanic.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, sorry.
Oh man,
I should clarify that. But yeah, but me being even though I'm Hispanic, I am still of light skin. I am still white. And seeing Peter Parker and the way that he was portrayed, again, the Tobey Maguire movies and most of the media ever, always at all, it wasn't ever something, and that's the thing with most people. It's not that people really seek to, this is a white character, I'm white. It just goes over their heads. And when you have such a niche character in this case, like Miles Morales, it's understandable, but also kind of unfair to the character. That he never really got this much attention. So I just think it's fucking great that they brought him out for this movie, for this big release.
And I have to admit, like there's this thing that I was just thinking about. Like I really don't like when characters switch races or
like race bent.
Yes,
it's always a little corny, especially with like, you ever seen like those like Disney princess like race bent?
No,
it's something that people used to make like back in the Tumblr days, and like. That's just all sorts of wrong, man.
Well, that's like the whole Ariel thing. Now she's black. Like that's
but that's the thing. You have to consider what is integral to the story. What about their identity is integral to the story, and what isn't. And like, for example, for Mulan, what sense would it make to make Mulan a Latino woman?
You
get me? So that's an interesting
or Ariel.
story.
I'm sorry. Like, listen, I'm in the minority here. Here's why. Like, when I heard the Ariel was black or African American, I was against it. And I'm not saying whoever was cast for it can't do a good job. Little Mermaid, if I'm not mistaken, is like a North European tale. Eastern Europe or North Europe. It's in Europe. So it's white people. So that's my thing. But what's like, and you said like Mulan is Asian, like is Chinese.
It's Chinese,
so she has to be Chinese. So to me, it's like, why are you gonna switch races for a little? You know what I mean? Like that's the thing I don't like.
But that's where again I have to bring up the point of like, where does the race, what role does this character's like racial identity play into the story? With
I guess like with Little Mermaid,
with Little Mermaid, like nothing about her being, nothing about Little Mermaid's race has to really do with the story, even though it is a Northern European story. So that's really the angle I'm trying to approach this.
Okay, you're right. Okay,
you get me?
Okay, I didn't think about. Okay.
Yeah, so I can kind of apply that sort of logic to like Miles Morales, and that's again, I'm glad that they brought this out. Like, fuck yes, give me a Miles Morales movie.
Yeah.
And even the game too. They brought him out, and I think he's, from the looks of it, no spoilers or anything, but not that I think
spoilers. Come on,
all of us have fucking played this game already. I think
it's been like you had a year to play this game. Come on,
yeah,
guys.
exactly. If you haven't played it by this point, please go do so.
Yes.
That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, like even in the game, like he's definitely had like a bigger role. Even it's weird though. In the game, he's not Miles Morales. They kind of changed his. What's his dad's name in that game?
It's like Jefferson Davis.
Davis, right?
You know what's funny?
Does he still keep him around?
Is it?
I don't even know.
Let me do a little research here about that name.
It's basically they gave him a lot better representation in the past, like year or two that they've sort of been, crapping out a lot of Spider-Man.
What's funny?
Jefferson Davis. What year is this?
Okay, so you know how like in the game it said that Miles Morales' dad was Jefferson Davis. I think it's Jefferson Davis, right?
I think.
Let me look it up. Because if I'm not mistaken, Jefferson Davis is the name of the cop who is Miles Morales' dad. And I had to research.
The name? Has his dad's name always been Jefferson?
I think so, and I knew that his dad was always a cop. Yeah, let me look at it now. Yeah.
Huh.
So my question is, why did you name it after the guy who was the only president of the Confederate States?
Yeah, that's a little fucked up.
That's a little, yeah.
I didn't put two and two together there. That's a little fucked up.
Because I'm not gonna lie, like when I played the game, I was like,
I mean, that wasn't even fresh in the mind. That went right over my head.
Oh really? Like,
yeah.
I mean, listen, like it's just weird. Like, all right,
like why make like a black cop named after like a Confederate? Was he a general? He said
it's a president. The Confederate president.
Yeah, Jefferson Davis was yeah, you're right. Like he
was like the Abraham Lincoln of the Confederacy.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah. That's. Anyway, so back to topic. So Spider-Verse. So Spider-Verse, basically, like it started. The premise of it and the way they set it up was already fucking cool as hell. I love the intro sequence. I don't like Post Malone that much.
What? Really?
I don't like his music. I'm not that into it.
You don't like Post Malone?
But yeah, that's beside the point. What I'm trying to say is I like
the soundtrack is so amazing though.
It is. But I'm saying like the intro, like Sunflower, I'm not that into. But it is cool that they're starting him off like just like singing the words, but not really like knowing too much. It's kind of like murmuring a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, that's just like the little ways they make him a very relatable character.
Yeah.
He's, he stumbles on his words when he's singing, like a lot of us do. But yeah, like the whole premise of it, like everything, it was super well written. It was just a very well written story.
It makes you laugh or cry.
Design, yeah, and the art design was great.
Yeah, I love the Prowler.
Yeah,
and it was funny. I completely forgot that his uncle was the Prowler, and I didn't see that coming.
Really?
Yeah, that part got me. Well, you know what's funny? This reminds me of the time. Remember on my birthday when we saw Homecoming?
Yeah.
I remember like you and I were like we were watching the movie with Juan, and we were sitting in the movie theaters watching this movie, and we were like having a good time, like making jokes. You guys like were bullshitting. We're watching the movie. We're like, this is a lot of fun. It was a scene where like Spider-Man's getting ready for prom with like his huge high school crush, And then we're like, all right, cool. And I remember, like, you said, like, my boy Peter, he's getting ready to, like, show his girl guitar at the prom. And he opens, or homecoming, sorry. And he opens the door, and you see Vulture's face. And you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. No, what got me was, like, the car.
What car? Oh,
like, you know when they're in the car,
and he
like,
figures out he's Spider-Man. Yeah, that part
that was really good about that movie. Like that particular scene that had me with my ass clenched real tight. That was such a tense part of the movie.
Like he goes, you saved my daughter, but if you come closer again, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, but I like how like the entire time, like the entire family was like, oh, hi Peter, how you doing? Peter's just like, oh fuck, this is awkward. Like, but anyway,
they really played with the tension though. It was really nice.
No, but
the Spider-Verse though.
But can we talk about how 2018 was a really good year for Spider-Man?
It was. I was thinking that too. But
like we had Spider-Verse, the Spider-Man game. We had Venom. We also had him in the Infinity War.
Yeah, so just overall, a lot of Spider-Man exposure.
Definitely.
Which is fucking awesome. Can't wait till the next year that happens. We just get like a crap ton of Spider-Man shoved in our faces.
Yeah, and I really hope for Venom. You should watch Venom, by the way. It's really good.
Should, man.
You know what's funny? Andy Serkis is going to direct the second one.
Is it going to be Venom 2?
He's directing it.
Damn.
You know Andy Serkis, right?
What movies did he direct?
He was Caesar in Planet of the Apes, which was the main ape.
Okay, yeah.
And he also was in, he played Gollum in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, fuck, that's him?
Yeah.
Gollum.
Yeah, that's him. So
Iconic.
he's going to direct it, and Carnage is going to be in Venom 2 with Woody Harrelson.
Oh, it's going to be fun, dude. See Carnage.
Do you like Carnage or Venom?
That's a good question. I mean,
what is your favorite symbiote? I think that's a better question to ask.
I like Venom and Carnage pretty much the same, I think.
So you like Toxin, which is pretty much
both of them just mushed together. Yeah. No, but of course, we're speaking separately. Like, I don't know, but I feel maybe I like Venom just a little more because he's just way sillier. Especially, dude, if you remember going back to the N64 game, like, dude is like so goddamn funny. Like,
yeah.
Like, he had a lot of lines in that game.
What was it? Could you get Captain America's autograph?
Yeah,
like, I love that.
Yeah, that was one line from that game. Dude, he's just hilarious.
Yeah, that game was so, like, I guess it's a good way to tie everything back together, but no, that game was really good. There's something about, like, our generation, like, when we started, like, it's amazing how, like, when we were, like, little kids and playing games like that, we thought we were 5, like, oh my god, Spider-Man on N64.
This is the best it's gonna get, right? Oh my god, I can't even imagine.
And then, like, we get to adulthood, we're like, oh, this ain't shit. Like,
yeah.
like, this is, like, but, like, again, like, no, that game was, the Spider-Man game was really, did you like Enter Electro, which was the sequel to that?
Like the first DLC?
No, it was,
oh, no, sorry, I thought you were talking about this PS4 game.
No,
that was...
Enter Electro was the sequel to that game. Did you ever play that?
No, I didn't play the sequel.
It's exactly the same, except it's, like, Electro is the main villain.
That
was actually, I don't know why I loved Electro so much, because I thought, like, I want to be, like, because when you think about it, Electro should be, like, in the MCU, because you know how much shit, like, Electro can do? Like, if you can take away electricity, just think about it. He can control all electricity.
He can pull your Wi-Fi.
Not only that, how are you going to power your cars?
Oh, gas. Oh, unless, you pull everything from the battery, which, the alternator... I'm no mechanic, but there are other things that work in a car.
But you have to use electricity to pump the gas. You have to get the water. You have to use it's gonna like go back to like way before the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like maybe around that time, but like because the Electro can do a lot with just like a snap of his fingers. Not like Thanos, but like, but no, Electro.
That's another kind of snap of fingers.
That's another. You know what's funny? I don't know why. Like we thought of this. It's funny about Thanos. We'll say Thanos, and then we'll kind of wrap it up saying our things about Spider-Man. But one thing I thought about Thanos was I was trying to spoil someone about, like, Endgame. And I said, like, dude, don't tell me, like, who... Or Infinity War. And it's like, don't tell me who's in it. I go, yo, Captain Underpants makes an appearance. And I go...
He was part of the MCU.
He's part of the MCU. But then I thought of this, too, like, wait. You know how like... Did you read Captain Underpants?
Yeah, as a kid, of course.
Which is like literature across the stars.
It's probably like my third favorite superhero as a kid.
But like you know how like he gets his powers right, which is the water across the head.
Yeah.
And I thought about this really mess with me. I thought about this.
Well, does he get? He gets into like a toxic vat after the whole thing happens, where they hypnotize him and they go like that. Or whatever.
Right?
No,
yeah.
The water. No,
the water hits him.
Undo it.
But don't say it later because there's a surprise part.
Sorry, let me not spoil this for people who haven't read Captain Underpants.
But like this one, it was like nothing can stop Under Captain Underpants. He's this incredible villain, an incredible hero who will stop anything. What stops him from being Captain Underpants? A snap.
No, it's the other way around. When they snap their fingers.
No, that was the Bizarro Captain Underpants. Wait.
No, it was the other way around. I'm pretty sure. Like they snapped their fingers, and he would turn into Captain Underpants.
Oh no, never mind.
But still, it's just as valid of a point. The only thing stopping him is just someone accidentally tripping over and spilling water on him.
Yeah. Or also like the snap of his fingers with Thanos. So anyway, but let's wrap it up, but let's kind of wrap up our points about why we love Spider-Man. So why don't you go first? Like, what's your favorite? We'll end with this. What's your favorite memory of Spider-Man?
Favorite memory of Spider-Man? Let's see. I have a crap ton, but if I had to think of one off the top of my head, definitely going back to when I was a little kid. Probably my fourth Halloween in existence when I got to dress up as him, and it was just great. You're a little kid. Your sense of suspending disbelief is very it's maxed out pretty much. So you fucking you see this happening on the screen, and you just you feel so free, like pretending to like shoot webs and stuff. And of course, like I had a ball at Halloween, family party. It was amazing. I still remember it. But and then everything. I think most memories of having Spider-Man have been pretty memorable and wonderful. Honestly,
that's good.
How about you?
The first time because I love dressing up as Spider-Man, because when you dressed up as Spider-Man, like when you're a kid and you dress up like I am Spider-Man or I am Jedi.
I used to put the suit under like my regular clothes.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, if someone's in danger, like da 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 da, like
my mom needs help in the kitchen. Let me go put the pants away.
Yeah. Wait, there's something. The water's leaking. And then you do the invisible web, and it's like, oh, wait, that didn't do anything. But in reality, in your head, it's like I saved the day.
Yeah, you're just really so engaged with the character, and that's like the magic of Spider-Man,
But the favorite memory I have was at Universal. I love Universal a lot. Was when I was 4 or 5 years old, and it was like a character breakfast, and I was my mom and dad. It was like a buffet, and I was dressed up as Spider-Man, and the characters there were like 3 Dr. Seuss, and it was weird. I liked that it was weird. It was a weird blend. It was Cat in the Hat, Thing 1 and Thing 2, and Spider-Man. That was it.
That's a very weird combo.
I know.
So to find out in the next Marvel vs. Capcom game. 3 renditions of Cat in the Hat.
Cat in the Hat.
Thing 1 and
Thing 2.
Versus Spider-Man.
And then Spider-Man's like, never mind. But no, one thing I loved was that I dressed up as Spider-Man, and again, when you're Spider-Man, I thought I'm Spider-Man. I'm having dinner with my parents. Only people know that I'm Spider-Man. But one thing that was really cool is I was crayons. I was Spider-Man over my mask, and I was crayons doing everything. And my parents, like I said, they were going to get food or whatever for me. Thing 1 and Thing 2 just sit in my booth. They literally just sit and they put their they look at me and they wave, and because they can't talk, but they wave, and they start it was really cool. They actually started dueling with me, and they started messing around with me, you're Spider-Man. They started doing that. It was really cool. The cat came over, and it was really special.
Which one of the 3?
Which one? What do you mean?
You said there were 3 Cat in the Hats.
I did.
Right? Or
there's Thing 1, Thing 1, Thing 2, and Cat in the Hat.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you said there were 3 Cat in the Hats.
I'm sorry. No, there's 1 Cat in the Hat, and there's Thing 1, Thing 2. I'm sorry for the confusion, everybody. Maybe because of the mask, I only saw 3 Cat in the Hat. No,
something's wrong with the lenses, dude. You gotta get this shit fixed.
Exactly, man. I need Spidey contacts. But it was cool. Thing 1, Thing 2 were playing around with me. Were like, "You're Spider-Man," and they pantomimed it or whatever. And then Cat in the Hat came over and fooled around with me. And they were like, hey, they were getting Spider-Man to come over. And Spider-Man came over, and I was like,
how old were you?
I was 4 or 5. So
okay, yeah. That
when you
really
saw Spider-Man, it's like, oh my god, it's Spider-Man.
It really hits you.
It's like Spider-Man. And so we started like, hey man, how you doing? And I was like, oh my god. And my parents came over from what the fuck is going on?
Nothing much. You're just meeting his hero, basically.
Yeah. You know, I mean, the Cat in the Hat. Like, I always loved the Cat in the Hat. And Thing 1, Thing 2, and Spider-Man. Like, it was a lot of fun. And then like, right. And I felt that like I had to reveal my true identity because I'm like, it's Spider-Man. And like Thing 1, Thing 2, and Cat in the Hat. I can trust these people. So I took off my mask. And I was like, I'm Elliot. I'm Spider-Man. And he goes, oh, that's cool. And then I put a lot of pressure on him. I said, okay, now you take off your mask. And Mom was like, oh, honey, he can't do that. He goes, listen, between us, I'm Peter Parker, but I can't do that around here. And I'm like, that was just so cool. Like the intimacy between like the character, like it was just like of the character. Like I'm sure the person who played Spider-Man was really, or that when worked as Spider-Man was really cool. But that's one of my favorite memories. Is that was like about Spider-Man was about that. Oh, by the way, I just saw there's a raccoon right behind you. I'm sorry. There's just like raccoon.
Oh shit, he running.
Yeah, but
that boy running.
We'll be okay. Nah, it's okay. It's nocturnal.
It's okay. At least they're cute.
Yeah, that's true. No, if we're stepping away.
You want to invite him to the podcast?
No.
Yo, what up?
Oh, he looked at you. Oh no. Okay, so Raccoon made an appearance, but we'll end it off here, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to thank everyone here for listening in. Hey, Javi, do you have any Instagram or Twitter or anything people can follow you on social media?
My Instagram, which I keep forgetting how to spell, it's Lil Phantasma. That's LIL.FANTVSMA because I'm edgy. Yeah, it's been a real pleasure, dude. I appreciate it. Thanks
yeah, anytime, man. And then everybody, you can follow us on Basic Nerd Experience on Instagram. And so thank you so much for listening. And we hope to listen to our next episode, which involves Javi here about our insane trip seeing Slayer in Universal. And yes, I'll be talking about Universal again because who doesn't love Universal? All right, take care, guys. Thank you so much.